that he tried to tell Bradley Beal that he wanted him to play more like you. What was your reaction seeing that Bradley Beal was frustrated by that?
I think me and Brad are different players. I don't know how, and I also don't know what he meant by saying that.
Yeah.
We are different players. Brad is an elite scorer, and he's had somewhat of an off year. So it's tough to go from where he was somewhere like in Washington and then kind of experience the experience that he's been going through.
So we got a lot going on right now in the Suns universe. You got coaches being fired, potentially going to be hiring one soon. Some players need to leave, some players need to be re-signed. We found out that Kevin Durant is likely gonzo, done deal. But there's also some drama. Sundo, I really do feel like they are scapegoating Bud to the fullest. He needed to go, but they're going to just bury him and blame everything on him, which leads to this Chris Haynes report. Now, he talks about how at one point in the season, probably after things weren't going terrifically, he had Bradley Beal come into the office and he asked him to switch it up a little bit and that he would prefer for him to play more like what Drew Holiday was doing for him in Milwaukee. Now, we know that Bradley Beal isn't nearly in that tier of a defensive player. The way that this was reported makes me feel initially like he was upset that he was being asked to lower himself to a Drew Holiday style player when he's up here above that, which we all know is not true anymore. So my question is Bradley Beal a secret egomaniac, or is this all Bud's fault?
Well, Gabe, not only did we get this news about the Bradley Beal situation, we also heard that Devin Booker also had some issues with Bud as well. So we got to kind of throw Devin Booker in there if we're going to talk about Bud being the issue. When it comes to Bradley Beal, though, I know you're going to go the route where Bradley Beal was an egomaniac and said, oh, how dare he ask me to do this? I won't. I look at it as more of, this dude's asking me to do something that's not in my forte. This dude doesn't want to adjust his system or adjust to our talent. He wants me to be something I'm not. I can't do that. That's the way I look at it. I do not want to be looked at as the Bradley Beal stan. I'm always looked at in our community and our live streams as the Bradley Beal stan. I turned heel on Bradley Beal recently, as in the last month or so, because of all the stuff that was coming out. But man, I kind of have to believe Chris Haynes on this one and think that Bradley Beal wasn't so much of an egomaniac, but I have to say that that's just not his style, and he wasn't going to do that, and he knew he wasn't capable of doing that. And not only was Bradley Beal not capable of that, every point guard on your team wasn't capable of that. Tyus Jones wasn't going to be Drew Holiday. Monte Morris wasn't going to be Drew Holiday. And Colin Gillespie, sure as heck, wasn't going to be Drew Holiday. So, Bud, adjust to the talent that you have, which he did not. Case, you tried to make Booker a three-point shooter when he wasn't. He's a mid-range assassin, and he suffered for it this season. I'm just going to say it. Go ahead and tell me your rebuttal.
I wouldn't even necessarily say that I disagree. I'm just trying to think this through here because we had this image of Bradley Beal, his front-facing image to the media, which before he turned heel on us and told us how he's smiling through everything because of his no trade clause, which was like an absolute trigger word to be saying. Before that, he really just seemed like the most wholesome, God-fearing, respectful, egoless, I'm just here to win. I'm so excited to be a part of Suns basketball. I'm so honored that Book and Durant wanted me to come join their team, and I sacrificed for the team, blah, blah, blah. He played hurt. But then you find out that behind the scenes, he's not taking coaching well. And that coaching needed to occur. There did need to be an adjustment on the way he was playing, because when he could play, he's just a lesser version of Devin Booker, and having him out on the court trying to play that same old role, it's kind of like Bud probably realized, hey, this roster was put together poorly on second thought, and I'm going to need you to do something different that you don't do because this is what we need. And for him to be making the money he's making and to not want to switch up his role. Look at Devin Booker in the Olympics. Did he have too big of an ego? No. He was playing with better players than him. So he became a do-it-all Swiss Army knife in the Olympics. If you listen to Steve Kerr talk about him, that's what he says. He said he wanted an entire team made up of Devin Bookers because of the way that he sacrificed and completely overhauled his game to fit towards winning. Beal wasn't able to do that for the Suns, making 50s of millions of dollars every year. And I guess I'm just saying I'm shocked that I'm seeing him as really egotistical.
Yeah, that's a lot. And again, I say this all the time, but I can't argue it because that does seem to be the optics. As a coach, man, I just feel like you should have known if you're going to ask a player to change their role, and you should have known what they're capable of. You should have known that they weren't going to be able to do it. Honestly, you should have just known that he wasn't going to be able to do it, or if he wasn't going to do it, period. Right. Then Beal took it personal whenever he was scapegoated. Because the report was coming out that he was the problem, right? Him and Nurk, both of them ended up being scapegoated. That didn't help the situation. And then the fans turning on Bradley Beal definitely did not help any situation whatsoever. Going after his wife because she has a business there. And I'm sure that also didn't help. So egomaniac, maybe. Maybe, but I also know being scapegoated, fans coming after him and his wife definitely was the icing on the cake that turned him completely heel on the Suns, on the fan, and on the organization. I can promise you that. What this just sounds like, bro, another bad coaching hire and another bad situation. And now Matt Ishbia, Bartlestein, James Jones have to remedy this. And honestly, I don't know how you do it. I don't know if you keep Bradley Beal or you ship him after you ship Kevin Durant. I believe it has to be the latter, if I'm being honest. You figure out a way to get him out of here no matter what. But if they keep him, they have to believe that Bud was the absolute 100% problem. And I have to believe that because of the Booker report as well.